Good evening, friends. Welcome to totally bonkers distribution. Yes, thank you very much for that suggestion. Yeah, made me laugh. Cheers. So at the totally bonkers distribution this evening, we're at Sollefteå, the latest edition. It is not a big town, it is a rather small town. 1,085 population. But that's, I think that, it's enough to keep themselves warm by digging for a bit of coal. Yes. How much coal have you dug up so far? 1,950 tons. Okay, well, that's a good thing. It cannot be a bad thing to have a lot of coal in stock. August is drawing to an end here after all, and pretty soon it will be winter. But I think that these are pretty loaded as is, but there is plenty of room for expansion. Well, plenty. There is some room for expansion here. They can grow and so increase. Yes, look. These are extremely well tended to, these children, because they have one adult per child in there. It's almost as if they were at home with their parents, almost as if it was natural, almost, you could say. However, the parent is of course working somewhere else, whilst another parent of another child is taking care of that, and so on. So you know how it works with the daycare. And I've tried to allow citizens the luxury of not having daycare, to bring up their own children and to be with them and so on. But the problem is that workers do not populate as we do. They are rather different in that they do not need a partner to what should we call it here? Procreate. Yes, to procreate. They do not need a partner. They do it on their own somehow, every now and then. But that means, of course, that a city, a town, anything, it won't work without kindergarten. Even to the point where I don't know where the limit is. That's something that one maybe could investigate at some point. There's a limit to how small a town can be, because if it is below a certain point of citizenship, they will end up in a deadlock where no one is able to work at the kindergarten because they are taking care of their child, because no one is working at the kindergarten, and then no one is able to work at the shopping center because they're at home taking care of their baby, because there is no one working at the kindergarten. And then they won't be able to go get the food in the shop, and then they die. That's how it goes. But what I was thinking here is, yes, we have the storage. It is a bit close to the storage here for the nuclear waste, But I was thinking the plan is for one thing, to have these people as drunk as possible. Regrettably, though, they're only watching television. I would think that not providing anything else for them to do than they would be drinking, but not. Should we take the electronics away from them then? Because if they don't get access to our fantastic television, station. They will not get culture, and therefore they will have nothing else to do than to go to the pub. Yes, that will take some time to have effect. Yes. So a brewery is what I was planning on doing to this town. With this town, two sounds a bit intrusive. It's not so bad, really. Although most areas have already effectively been blocked off, of course, by various infrastructure. If one wanted it to have it, close to town, this would be a space for it. Because I'm thinking that we can use trucks. It's a brewery. They don't use that much crops, and they don't produce that. I mean, volume-wise, there will be more or less continuous truck traffic, but I don't think that's the problem. Yeah, I think that we rather like a bit of traffic. The brewery is in here. The distillery, they call it, but no, it's a brewery. Definitely a brewery. Much nicer. With actually, you want to point it this way. And if yes, with that is the place where people get in. We want pointing that way, and then a road cargo station right about there. I'm thinking, however, that we wanted to make it as short. It is slightly polluted. How polluting is a brewery here? Grocery store is not. There we go. It's about as polluting as a cooling tower for a nuclear power plant. About the same. Yes. So here then. But no, you don't want it that way, you want it this way. We will have to live with that we lose a little bit of coverage in that if we don't have a footpath or anything pointing in that particular direction. But yes, I will lay in the streets manually, thank you. There we go, and we're upgrading this to proper streets. Simply put, road cargo station. It's fantastic nowadays that we can do all these things, can build them, that is, construct them, in such a reasonable time. You can even have, just for the hell of it, have lit street down here. And that's quite something. So to get this as efficient as possible, I suppose we do this, right? Maybe. And then it's sort of, at this point, it doesn't really matter anymore. Well, that may matter, and although they prefer the sidewalks, that is what will extend their range the most. Right? So pardon me about this. Yes, it is very, very unprofessional. Yes, when you go up to 54 subscribers, yes, thank you so very much to all 54 of you who have hit that button at some point or other. I don't know what level of professionalism you should be expecting. But it is varying, let's put it that way. That's what I'm drinking this evening here, Soinerts Original Extra Lager. Soinerts Brewery. Yes, it's from the north, from the high coast, I think. Maybe it isn't anymore, it's supposed to be anyway. It is it is not bad at all. And you see, they've already gotten going here. We more or less have not a whole lot going on yet, except that we have there we have a digger. And what did I do? I had a sip of beer, basically, and they've already gotten started here. The problem is that to get to this point, yes, it requires 122 in-game years. Yes, if you don't know why it doesn't say 21, 22, never mind that, just take my word for it that there has been 122 in-game years. Yes. So that's what it takes to get to a point where you can actually get some, I wouldn't call it action maybe, but something out of your construction crew, where stuff actually happens. Did you hear? Workers, yes, 50 workers has arrived. Very nice. Oh, and here comes a bus for the other road as well. That's going to speed things up a whole lot. This is as quick as you can build road in this game. I think about at this rate. That is, yeah. You're already done with the gravel bit. This is good. They have changed this, or fixed this rather, because usually it used to be, yes, in the good old times of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, where it was even more broken than it is now. When one construction phase was finished, the workers went immediately home. Speaking of optimizations, by the way, I'm fond of using a few things here. It just seems to make things better. And it may also break things that we're not aware of. Maybe the hospital thing is down to that. I don't know. Or something else. Who knows? It's not really my job to work out what's wrong with the game. It's I'm here to enjoy it. Yes. Because I think I got into that for a while, almost as if I was working as a beta tester for this. It certainly feels that way sometimes. That there could be a pretty natural way of getting from there to there, if it's possible to follow my reasoning here. Because sometimes, Jim, it has its quirks, as we know. Yes. So, and I think I got a bit too engaged. I don't care about this piece of crap game, really. It's a fantastically intricate, complex, wonderful, quirky, detailed in certain ways, and it is also so extremely stupid in certain ways, ridiculously stupid in some ways. Yes, and so frustrating, and it drives you goddamn insane. Or maybe I'm a bit too engaged in it. Yes, I have not claimed that this is healthy behavior, rather the opposite. In fact, I think I'm aware. What's one to do? Yes, that's how it is. Yes, that will be a little while longer. We are going to need trucks. I think that they are still, churning out trucks up here, and I wonder if the trains have actually gotten them down to none in stock yet. Well, almost. This will actually be a good time to ask the trains to very much please go and wait at the rail yard. And just in case you're close by. going to hit the little break for a little short time here. Yes, all of you please to the rail yard, which is over here. Apparently called Baraharad. I should probably christen it. And we do wait to load uranium oxide. And go there now. And the same thing for you. Yes. Load uranium oxide. Wait. Head there. And one more. That's... Yeah, that's what this is what this game is about. Clicking these stupid boxes, windows that are, I mean, if you get the feeling that they are intentionally clumsy. I mean, they're Soviet. This is the Soviet simulator. What the hell do you expect? Do you expect ergonomics and modern things? No, I don't think so. I think this is more what you expect. Yes. Clunky. Yes. So it's quite appropriate. Don't get me wrong. This is actually slow down. Through here, no. It sounded okay. Maybe it was that train that we heard the sound of. Maybe we think it was slowing down. Yes, this is one of the quirks of the game. The trains do not care about the curvature of railroad or gradients that much, really. They are quite happy going up, you know, like... I'm not exactly sure, but I think it is like 12% that they can do, which is nowhere near what actual, you know, regular gauge, or what you call it, broad gauge. Regular gauge rail, such as this, can be expected to do. Nowhere near. No. And but I like that. It's fine. If it were to slow down, if say it were to be going 30 kilometers an hour through there, that would be boring as hell. The brakes are extremely good on the trains. Somehow they find a way to create a whole lot of friction between their metal wheels and the metal road. Yes. I know that's why trains are so efficient. Yes, most people know these things. I don't think that you need to go on about it, you know. That's why they're efficient at certain things and stupid at certain... Yes. Railroad is a nice thing, but one should maybe not enforce it where it is not required by political and very expensive means. Yes, you know, in the 1800s, yes, when the railroad was built, you know, that changed things quite a bit. That could change, you know, the travel time between two cities of your country, but from, you know, a month to a day or such. So that's quite useful. I mean, that's extremely useful. That's ridiculously useful. Yes, well, a month for if you were like walking, if you had a horse and cart and things, or if you had multiple horses, if you could certainly cover that distance quicker. But anyway, yes, it could cut it down by that much. Nowadays, we're talking about spending hundreds of billions and of money that we don't have. You were supposed to be waiting there, yes, and we're not shaving off, you know, weeks, days, perhaps not even hours. We're shaving off 15 minutes, okay, an hour, say. Is it really that, you know? I mean, if you are in that of a rush, we do have these flying machines, aeroplanes. But they're so bad for the environment, and they pollute and things. Yes, but then get on the goddamn train that has been there for 150 years. It's good enough as it is. Yes. If you're in more of a hurry than that, then we have the technology for it. And we'll just bite a bullet and say that I'm so important that I need to fly. Yes. Internally, I cannot sit on a train for 4.5 hours. I need to fly. Yes, but that's fine. Do that. But don't go, spending money which doesn't exist. Spending resources. Yes, workers spending work and resource. Incredible amount of work and resource on things that will have so little gain for the society. Yes. Whew, that was some tangent. How the hell did we end up there? I don't know, but I really like trains, especially long freight trains on long haul. That is an extremely efficient way of moving stuff across the land. Medium distance people transport between, by international standards, quite sparsely populated areas and quite small towns, really not even cities in the grand scheme of things. 500,000 people does not a city make. No, that's a town, really. Yes, it is. Even if it is the third or second largest city in the country, it's still just a town. Yeah. And, high-speed rail, it doesn't make sense. In a case like that, there's an airplane. And now, if that thing becomes a reality, I just heard about it last week. Otto Aviation. Yes, if you have any interest in it, you have probably already heard about this. But what you get is basically an aeroplane, yes, that can do. You can't cross the Atlantic. It doesn't have that kind of range, but you can do like all of mainland or all of Europe, all of the United States, and so on. And the cost of running it is it is so small that in comparison to a regular flying machine. And thereby, since the cost being so small, also meaning environmental impact being smaller, because cost and money and resources is equal to emissions and environmental impact in some form or other. It's just the way it is. We cannot create or destroy energy. We can only transform it and eventually have it decay into heat. This tangent is going off in really weird directions now. Are you making any sense? What the hell did they put in this soy nuts here? I don't know. There must be something there in the high coast. There is something there in the high coast. Certainly is. But yeah, and apparently something got in this beer. And this time I think that we will actually stay inside here. Yes. Or, well, I said yes before it had actually stopped. Because I was certain. I don't know. I think that they might have finished the brewery, or at least gotten a very long way with it. They have not started. Well, they have actually. They are just about to start. They haven't put up the street lighting yet on this piece of road here. However, they have started on the road cargo station. Yeah. So yes, there are still optimizations to be done. I mean, this could have been more streamlined, let's say. Could it not? Yes, there we went from aeroplanes, new types of aeroplanes. Yes, maybe I should finish that. It is if it works, but they have logged quite a few flight hours, if I understand it correctly. This thing actually works. And yes, fuel consumption is like 1 liter per 100 kilometers. No, sorry, 10 liters per 100 kilometers. We have a different system of measurement here. We say liters per 10 kilometers. That's why I get it wrong. But yes, so 10 liters for 100 kilometers. Yes, 1 liter per 10 kilometers. Yes. It isn't that difficult to make out. Or about, I believe, 22, 23, 25 miles per gallon. Whichever system, I think they're different, aren't they? The US and the Imperial, or the UK, because the US uses the Imperial and the UK uses something different, isn't it so? Or have I gotten that? I hope I've gotten that wrong. I must have gotten that wrong. Anyway, tangents. Yes, an extremely fuel-efficient form of flight. Such that, and it's no like little putter that's putting about up there. It goes really quickly. Not quite the speed of a real proper jet, but not far from it neither. No. And that's a whole new industry which doesn't even exist yet. And think that these high-speed trains that you are planning on building here right now, for lots of resources which should be spent on other things, maybe. Yes. They might just feel slightly obsolete, if you can grab hop on one of these things. Yes, because they would apparently then be economical. I mean, they seat 6 people in quite good comfort. I suppose they could seat a few more in coach comfort or something. But since they are so cheap to fly, it's so ridiculously cheap to fly compared to conventional airplanes. You could, all sorts of towns could be connected with frequent flights. We're talking here, places which could never ever be connected via the airways previously. Could never be economical with a regular jet. It's like a bus almost, It's and so in the end, the ticket price they estimate would be like slightly above maybe what we'd be used to paying now for a jet ticket between places, but adjusted for distance and such, of course, and adjusted for the just the ability to get from whatever town to whatever other town directly in like an hour or two. Even if it's very far away, and that would have taken like 6 hours on the train, or if it was a good train, or 8 hours if the road wasn't that great, or 6 hours on the road. You could do that for I mean, that then your so-called high-speed rail that you have just built, that will look a bit ridiculous, won't it? So maybe not do that. Maybe hold off on that for a bit. I think, and I think that we'll get by just fine with the rail that we currently have. Not that it's working very well, though. It's working terribly. And I'm not talking about the totally bonkers distribution here, or den traditionella bondedemokratin, or the totally boring dumbness here. I'm talking about my actual country, in actual reality. And what was the point of that tangent? I don't know. They put something in this beer. They definitely did. Yeah. Yes, don't build high-speed rail unless you're like Japan or China, where you have enormous cities. Then it might be viable, feasible, sane to do these types of projects. Yes. But when your entire country has the population of a suburb of one of these cities in, for example, China, then I don't think that's for you. No, I think you should find different ways of logistics for the citizens. Yes, for the people to move around. There are more efficient and better suited ways of accomplishing this task than goddamn high-speed rail. Why the hell? Where did they get this idea that high-speed rail is such a good thing for everyone, everywhere? It isn't. It is a terrible thing. It has an enormous environmental impact when they build these things straight through everything, and they cut straight through the landscape. They are off limits to the public. They put up fences. You're not allowed to cross one of these things. You're not allowed to be on the railroad, which is something quite unique for this country, that you're not allowed to be at a place. And they're going to draw these up straight through. We already have enough. It's good. But make sure that works instead, maybe. Yes, that's a fraction of the cost of building this insane project. And you can't even get that right, so maybe not even try. Leave it to Otto Aviation or Saab or something else. But don't build this goddamn railroad. That's that on that. Should we leave that subject now with the high-speed rail? Of what country? Yeah, it should be so obvious if we look around here that I've either consciously or unconsciously made it a point of not actually. Maybe it has been mentioned one time or other, I don't know, but it has now become a point that I shall not disclose which country I am native to. But it should be pretty obvious. There are plenty of clues about here. As Oskarshamn, which is where we have a nuclear power plant. Yes, Ringhals is also where we have a nuclear power plant, for example. Other than that, so we haven't done that much naming, which reminds. I mean, this could be. Soylent here. That was a good one. So why not? What did they used to have their brewery? It was like in what's it called up there? Because this is not. It doesn't say on the can, as far as I can make out. You know, this is Kopparbergs Brewery, but that's nowhere near. As in Bergslagen, you know, that's nowhere near where they claim that this is made. Krokom or something. Am I going to be a millennial? God damn it. Really? I suppose so. There we go. Sollefteå. That's where the Soylent Brewery, at least historically, maybe. I didn't read. It was founded. Yes, 1857. Sort of. In Sollefteå. Yes, but they have been bought and things, but never mind that right now. Yes, we got inspired by the beer here. It was good. I want another one. And I think that we have enough cabling here that we can actually come along Except that maybe that cabling is tied up here. Let's see. No. Since the old cable broke, I had to replace it with another cable, which is very long, which allows me to make it all the way here. And there is not another Soiners. We will have to go for a Småland, which is very much befitting as well. Yes, and that's that one on the floor. Is it not? But it was plenty empty, so that ought not to be a problem. Let's see here if this still sounds okay. Yeah, I think it does. Maybe you should have been watching the construction instead. That might have been made for a little bit more interesting viewing. They're missing boards. Are they coming with boards, or do we have a lack of boards? I don't think I have to worry about this sort of stuff at this point. There is a problem that we don't really use the trains so much to get stuff in here, but we have a little bit of trains. We do bring bricks via train. That's a good thing. As we're doing that, you should head back to the factory since you're empty. So bricks is good to bring here. We should definitely be bringing steel in via the railroad as well. And there is a yes. Let's open the smaller too. There we go. Cheers. That is very different from the Soiners. I don't know how to. I'm not, one of those that's going to. Yes, it has a hint of old, wet horse hair there on the tail end of the aftertaste in the upper end of the gum. No. What we're trying to do is keep this window open, but open the right tab, and then we'll see if we can't find ourselves there is a steel train that is weight cargo. Yes, we have this, which is standing around with 1,673 tons of steel. It's another clue is which side of the tracks the trains run on, because that's rather unique. I think that we have right-hand road traffic and left-hand train traffic. Not unique. That's a bit excessive, but at least what should we call it? If not unique, then not that common, say. That I think we could say. Yes, you do a funny route. You go from steel mill, which is about here, up to Hamnen, which is all the way up there, where they're building the boats or the ships, and then on your way back, you go on your way back. Well, you're not on your way back yet though, but the thing is that Hamnen here, they have plenty of steel, always. Then you swing by Oskarshamn, which is close to the vehicle industry, where they use a whole lot of steel. But don't think that it's necessary to bring you by there, but it's on the way. Yes, it's on the way, so it's completely fine that you swing by there. Yes, I think that we're going with this one. But then you go here, so we're about here now on the railroad. And this one, you have 30,000 tons of steel already. And I believe this is about here. Let's see where we end up. That was completely wrong. Right, it's this one. It's it has steel and meat. Yes, what else do you need really? And a couple of four Mercedes-Benzes. I think we have like a couple of 140s and a couple of 124s. No, only 140s. What the hell do we only have? We should get a couple of 124s as well. A bit more utilitarian, you know. The 140s for the weekend and the 124 is for daily use. Anyway, that would be whoop. So that would be here then, right? So we have gone. Yes, we have gone from the steel mill to the harbor, or really the, what you may call it, varv, shipbuilding area. Probably a word in English for that, which I cannot recall right now. The docks, I think there's another term. Never mind. And then we've gone here to the vehicles industry, engineering area, and now we're here. And we want to fit in this into the schedule. Well, you could actually. Well, if we were to send you here first, I mean, that's just messing with it. That's just screwing with your railroad, because that would, at least at the moment, entail something like this here. Yes, down there, and then into here, there. Yes, and then back. That's the road. We'd be coming in here, and then we'd be going out the same way. And then we'd go. Yeah, and then we'd go to Oskarshamn. But it's set to go to Hamnen, which I would hope then would prompt it if we just were to slot this in after the steel mill that is here. And I wanted to unload, but not absolutely everything, just a bit, about half. Yeah, about half. That's the wrong place. That's the place that we are already stopping at. Let's remove that and go down here instead, and do this again, but to do it right this time. Gör om och gör rätt. Do it again and do it right. So in there. Well, unload, please. And I got a bit thrown off there. Yes, unload half your load of steel, and that ought to do nicely. Wouldn't it? Yes, it would. I don't think anyone uses this for as a source of steel, you know. This place. It's just a whole lot of steel sitting out, 30,000 tons. Yes. What are you set to your limit there? 2,000. Okay, that's reasonable. Well, it's a whole lot more than they're ever going to need out here, but still. So, since this is Sollefteå, we cannot have, baby delivery service, or was that Sollefteå? I always get them mixed up. Yes, we could also increase the walkability of the hospital. That, I think, would do good things, as these people will be complete drunks. That is the point. They will work at brewery, and they will make beer, and they will drink beer. That is what they will be doing. Right. So that's another really heavy thing that we got in here, using the Iron Horse Railroad, really efficient at exactly that sort of thing. Yes, rather than using the road. So it's still nice that we have traffic here. What are you doing, for example? You're going to a gas station. Do we bring fuel in here via the radar? I think that we might actually be doing that. Yes, we do. Both bitumen and fuel. Isn't that nice? 4,500 tons. Okay. Sounds good to me. Yes, you know, another thing that you should build them here is it's not in there though, it's in here. Yes, a road thing for this. I think it's long shot that would load fuel into here from this place, so this will do nicely. Yes, I'm having the lit streets because we can, and because I like how it looks in during the night time. And you are quite comfortably within your, you know. This is completely overstaffed. I mean, how many tons of coal do you use? 8.4 tons of coal, maximum production, consumption at maximum production. Yes, 8 point. How many hours again did you have in the game? 1300 something. It works like this. This how much it consumes per workday. Yes, and there are 3 work days in one of these days. Yes, 3 work shifts. That's how it works. So 16. No. That would be 24 points, or rather 25 something, 26 tons, say, per day. And we have 950 tons here. So if running at maximum, which we are nowhere near doing, but if we were to be running at maximum, 1950 tons of coal divided by, what was it, 26, say. Again, safety margin. 75 days of coal we do have stored up here, and at the current, you know, that's like, what is that, 15% maybe we're running at? So, well, yeah, maths, and we've got plenty. My point being, with this then, would be that we could maybe do this a bit differently, because we have this line. Problem with this one, the point was to supply both the coal mine and the heating plant with workers. We needed a little bit of workers in here to get that going, and there had never this doesn't really seem to relate to the occupancy. I thought it did for a while, but it doesn't. There's another thing for improvement. Yes, not going to get involved with that. You know, so I'm going to set this to unload just like a tiny amount of workers there, and then leave the rest for the heating industry, and hope heating plant, it's not really an industry. And this bus we shall depot at a reasonable. Okay, we don't have a lot of. Well, we do have a lot of depot space, but it's been taken up by this. Yes, because we're building a town there later on to watch out over the nuclear fuel. Yes, that is the plan, anyways. But for now, though, we need a few more road vehicle depots, please. And if we could have it line up with that junction crossing like that, and then this, I'd really prefer it if they got started on like very much now. Because we need trucks. We still don't need trucks, but we're missing boards. Do we have boards? No, we do not have boards. We only store 40 tons of boards. Yes, here's the problem with this building. I want to store a little bit more of boards, please. How about 1,500 tons more of boards than you were previously wanting to store here? Right. So what we need then is the boards train. Yes, planks. Where are you? Planks. If you choose diesel locomotive first, it's easier to find. Plankor, it's first here on the second page. Yes, you're currently heading to Molna. Okay, so we're going to figure out where to slot this stop into your route too as well then. So do it as silly as possible or do a reasonable thing. I mean, Ballasros, no. What are you doing here? They have plenty of boards, that's fine. Where is Ballasros? Not quite sure, but here, Molna is here, and then there's a roundabout, and it goes down to here. So after Molna would make quite good sense, actually. Yep. Unload, maybe not 100%. Maybe keep it to somewhat of a reasonable level, but then again I think that most places are pretty full on boards. It's not something that we use. When we use them when building, yes, then we tend to consume a bit, but no, it's rarely a problem. Well, this will sink a lot of the woods into this place. 1,500 tons of boards. Damn it. That's how it is, though. Yes, and this, by the way, you need for every town if you want to build, be able to do roads in a reasonable time. Yeah. We're still commuting people in here from all the way over in Kemisterna, you know. Yes. There are so many people there and so very few people here. That is the reason. And that the bus here that we had. Yes, you're actually supposed to be doing what the other bus does too. Is it this one? No. No, it wouldn't be there. It would be this one. We want one more, please, to do this. Like that one. No. Okay. No, you have clicked the wrong button. That's what you've done. Close that, open that, and then click this instead. Yes, it's the same icon, but in a completely different context. Therefore, it does something completely different, obviously. Launch, yes. Yes, a little bit too personally attached. Maybe one should say that I got to this thing, this Soviet simulator. I don't know how it got that way. It's a long time ago that I had this sort of relationship with the game. But it's interesting. And it's led me to do this too, which is also interesting. I mean, at least there are some of you that this is reaching, which is fantastic if you think about it. I mean, call it, this is a niche form of whatever this is. Very niche indeed. patients waiting for treatment. We should increase, yes, we need the absolute best health services available here, because they're going to be so drunk by the time that they get out of electronics here. But we still have electronics at the shop. Should we throw that out to encourage a few more people to get 3 guests? That's a bit disappointing. Yes, but the brewery is now complete. Yes, we have workers. Very good. A thing that you should have taken care of earlier, yes, that was these brand new trucks here. And god damn it, they continue to produce. You didn't change the thing that they were supposed to be producing. Correct. Did not. I mean, we could set the train off again, I suppose. It is bringing in a lot of dollars, that just willy-nilly exporting vehicles, and that's not really wasn't really supposed to be the point. But then I need to break. Yes, we have now broken production. New blueprint set in production. All these people are just hanging about, wondering why aren't we building anything? Because I'm trying to organize the output of your factory here. That entails emptying out everything before we start the next run. And I can't be bothered to set all 3 trains running again. So we'll only set this one running. And have it as not running for the moment. What difference does it make, really? Right. Those... you know what? Whilst we wait for those trucks there to make their thing, to go about and get to the road vehicles depot, and then realize that they need fuel and so on. Yes, why not do it on the way? Because it doesn't work like that. That's another quirk. Yeah. You'd think it obvious that they do it on the way while passing by a fuel station, but no. Anywho, yes, we can set up lines. So create new stop. Here, load. Now the problem is that we cannot really do very good things here. We can only set it to wait until loaded. Yes, we're going to have to specify this later on. There, unload, wait until unloaded. Yes, so this then is alcohol, no, öl, beer, yes, crops. Yeah, and do not close that, keep that around. And then one more, which goes from here, where it waits until loaded 100% of beer, preferably not anything. And there it goes there, then it goes there to unload. Yes. There you go. Very nice. That too. Oh, there we need to get crops in here too then. Yeah. Don't we just though? Yeah, we actually do. Wonder what train I'm going to use for that. Maybe we should put a new train in for that. That's yes, that's a conundrum. Anywho, this is also öl, but this is, I mean, yeah, this is just öl. I mean, from brewery to warehouse. If we were to have used the same naming scheme as previously, it would be called beer, I suppose. Since anyways, here seems as though it would not make any difference for you if we were to build a road or streets, but we'll still do it. Just because it feels a bit right to do it. And now you close that line window down. That's unfortunate. We shall have to go. There should be one good thing about this, and it should be really close to the end here, which it is. That's both of them. Yes, and you think the trucks are done with that thing? Yeah, I think they are. They are in the road vehicle depot with the Peterbilts, which is slightly in this direction. Yes, and then slightly in some other direction. Somewhere around here is where they ought to be. Here they are. Yes. You. That one and that one. And now we get to be a bit more particular about this. Earl said is load crops, please. Wait. But combined, that's not really where you want to go, though. You know, it's more like you want them to be using the road cargo stations, which have been so very well prepared here. And there you load 100% of crops, and you can have the luxury of waiting until loaded. And there I undid all that work, and so we shall have to do it again, and we want to wait until loaded on crops. This was apparently very complicated to get right. Yes, that's what we want to do. Okay, and this one. This one, it's not as important, because it will be waiting on the other end. We unload, but we still use the road cargo station. Yes, we don't want to interfere too much directly with this, because this is what the distribution offices use. Yes, you can use road cargo stations for distribution offices as well. I don't think it makes a difference, but still, I do it this way. It doesn't work for shops, I don't think. You can use a distribution office. You cannot have a shop road cargo station and then put a distribution office to do that. Yes, you can. That's exactly what we do in Chemisterna, is it not? No, I think in Chemisterna we had the traditional setup that one used to use before. We had the lines. Yeah, should we get them going? Sure. There won't be any crops available, though. We need to think about some way of doing that then. Crops, they are... Okay, wait a minute here. Should we have a look at this? This is always nice. Yes, because it's starting to freeze over. And we'll start to lose the harvest unless we get it in. But here it's looking fine. Here it's completely... That's 0.400 kilograms there. That's okay. This though doesn't look that great. Actually, it seems like you have like quite a lot of things. And the problem is here. Yes. The problem is this. We don't have enough bandwidth out of here. Do we have any? We don't have any bandwidth out of here. Well, that would certainly explain. Number 19, I believe we're up to. Load. Wait. Yes, I thought it was a matter of, not having enough trucks. Yes, not having enough bandwidth. Having no trucks means no bandwidth whatsoever. So this is a whole lot better. There we go. And yeah, the trucks, you find them over in this way. That's a really handy tool. This you can spot things with it. Suppose that's why they have the little magnifying glass there as the symbol for it. Use these maybe. I'm not sure. No, we'll go with the trusty ones here that we know for certain aren't too large to be blocking in the road cargo station. There you go. And well, the unfortunate thing is here that they won't be able to bring in any of this year's harvest neither, because the crops that are in here has probably been in here for many years. Yes, it could be the fact that the farm is older than the road cargo station if it burnt down, for example. I mean, we do have a road vehicles depot here, which to me would indicate that we had at some point brought maybe trucks over here, yes, to assign to there, and tractors, and maybe you never got around to actually doing that bit. Yeah, it may be the case. And I want pardon me. That's I'm sorry. There are lots of gravelly roads here that if one were to upgrade, I think that's something that we ought to be pretty safe doing in winter. I mean, we could do it now too, but it will cause some issues. They will have to go all sorts of strange ways to do this. And we can only do it in tiny increments. But that's about that. How about this brewery thing? How are you doing? Yeah, one of these ready. Don't need it anymore because fixed it anyways with the trucks there, you know. But we are certainly going to need it, or we could make use of it, I would think. Yeah. Right, we still haven't brought any crops here. That was the thing. Maybe if we do something like this, if we look at the crops, and then, yes, we have locomotives here which contain crops. And that brings things in from these farms up here down to the central storage area. This one, I suppose, yes, it goes out to Sollefteå, it's all the way out there. Yeah. I mean, we could have a dedicated train for this. It's just that I really want to have it set to wait until unloaded. That will block one of, well, you have 4 connections here. I think it'll be fine. Yes, I think so too. So, do you think the train car depot area would be the place to go? Yes, maybe, but that is over here. It could be, we should have covered in here. Oh, look at this. What do we have here? Don't know what you were doing, but you were doing something. We should maybe just make you a little bit longer here, since we could expect to be having quite a bit of alcohol in stock for you. Yes, to save myself a few clicks here in the clunky interface, I'm going to try and use the very dangerous keyboard shortcut, which can crash the game. Should not in a situation like this, but I don't trust it. Right, should we plant trees? Yeah, I can't see the wood cutting post, so I think we're fine. Here is something, yes, you see that. What's this then? Did I cut you off? Oh, this is the closest place where you can't go. Right, but I'm pretty sure there are alternate routes available. But if you are so set on taking this particular route, you will have to wait until the road is finished. That's just the way it is. But I mean, you could, or you couldn't. Okay, you couldn't. Fine. How about that? What was that? That was something. That was what we were supposed to be doing, or what we, yes, that was a train. God damn it. At least now we can go directly to the right place, more or less. Yeah. There you are. This is the proper beer train then. We all know, yeah. It is involved in the beer industry. Sad beer crop delivery. That's plenty good enough to know what's going on with that one. And where is it? It's around here. Looking the other way, that is another way. That is, it's over here. And there we can see quite a long train rolling out of here. That's nice. You go there and you load crops. Then you... How are you going to get... See here if we can take on the role of the little train. Yes, and go for the little ride. I think that we can. This is how you'll go. You go out here. You'll take a lift. You'll go up this little hill. I mean, this is... Yes, we were talking about trains and their ability to go up hills. This is not possible. This sort of gradient. We actually seem to have... Wouldn't you know it? Look at this. We have something to unpick here. It's quite something. And, well, the irony is that I just tried and do a deconstruction of how this works and how excellently it worked. And now it hasn't malfunctioned in years. Now it is malfunctioning. Apparently, yeah. Let's get back to that later on. Because we will then, when the track is free here, continue up here, most likely go in there for a little bit of a refuel. And then up here. Yes, it is a little bit of a ways, but it doesn't matter. It's cargo on rail. It's not meant to go quickly. It's meant to be efficient. Resource-wise, yes, which it is very much efficient. Although this would be too short of a route to be realistically efficient. That was quite nice, flying over the mountain there and then into here. Pum pum pum. Unload 100%. How much crops will you accept? 5,200. Sounds good to me, actually. Yeah. Now there was the little matter of every train in the nation having gathered up in this general area right about here. Someone is blocking. Well, you are blocking this junction. And then, well, you see this I'm not taking responsibility for. This is, I think, is a case of the game trying to be clever with the chain signaling. Or no, this train, which is blocking everything, which is ruining. That's worse than Squirrel. That's impossible to say. It makes the situation terrible for everyone involved by standing around here. It should not have been allowed in here because here I have a change signal. Since this train was in here, this change signal was red. Or if the train wasn't in here, okay, well, fine, then the change signal wasn't red, but they then... come to think of it, this one is all the way out here. The closer to... Can't play semaphore here. The closer to there, to there, that we'll have it, the better, I think. Wouldn't it be so? Yes, I think it would. If you were to, for example, go back to you're the clothing train. Quite important. How are you doing here? 4 tons. How are you doing here? You're okay. I think that if we ask you nicely to go to Beates and then ask you to turn around as well, you will find some way of getting there. Because we have such an extensive network of railroad that you can get from anywhere to anywhere. But no, you have to go the other way. No, you don't want to go the other way. Right, and this is the crop train. This is a little bit important, but all that we can really do for the moment is to ask it to turn about. But it cannot do that, and neither can this. Okay, this is quite a pickle. Yes, it is. No, you keep going that way. We'll have to convince you to yes. The reason for sending it there was because the resource was needed. If we instead send it back a bit on its schedule, it will make it out of here. That will unclog this, and it will all work out. Look at this now. Total confidence in my rail network here. As it takes a little time, you know. And it went the wrong way. It's not really helping when you're doing that, you know. Could we please try and convince you to go the other way, or are you... No, you're not out of fuel. Then it should be... Okay. Well, you know what? We really need you out of here. So, say you go to... Didn't I ask you to go to Culture Capital? No, I went to ask you to go to Ballasros. We asked you to go to Culture Capital because that only lies in that direction reasonably. That way. Indeed, you agree. Now, let's watch the thing untangle itself. We need to wait for it to... There we go. You can move ahead. That means other things can move ahead as well. Yes, look at that meat train shooting out of there. Oh, yeah. As I said, the brakes, some sort of magic friction material is applied. think the quite heavy G-forces there involved. Yes. I'd say that's a success, except that the train made it in there in the first place. It's either it was that signal there that you know, say that a train was, say that train was in between that chain signal and that semaphore, which was about there. Yes, say that it was somewhere in that block. Under those circumstances, that train would have been let in here, and that actually goes to the point. During that tutorial attempt, I had a think, or something crossed my mind. Also, during the tutorial attempt, these colors were not working for some reason. They are now, though, of course, of having these as chain signals. Because if this was a chain signal, would have been a chain signal, you see, it would look down here and see that this is red. So I better not let anyone in. And I think this is a gut-based valuation of the situation. I think that we should only put chain signals on one side of these blocks. I just have a feeling that that's the right thing to do, if anything. To not get them locked up. That ought to prevent what just had happened there, but can then also, of course, cause new issues, which we have not even so far envisioned or thought about, you know. Yep. Okay. Operating without issues. Very good. And it is operating without issues despite me having changed the thing about here for the bus. They were actually producing there for a little bit. And maybe that means that we have gotten the balance here somewhat correctly. And we have just 3 workers waiting there to take a shift in here, maybe. I mean, maybe this setup is not for every place. It may not be optimal for these places. The coal mine is definitely not in need of this, because that we don't need a continuous supply of workers, actually. No, we don't. It's completely fine that it's intermittent. However, the heating plant is very important that it is continuous. Question is then, could we be allowed to unload even fewer here? Because that only left you with 7. And you have 1 worker on board. It's not a whole lot. We should probably ask a few more of these houses to work at the bus platform first and foremost, especially these ones which are plenty filled. Yes, you get to do the the most important bit, the backbone. And actually the alcohol addiction enjoyment seems to be on the rise here. 6%. That is a bit suspiciously low. 4%. Yes, we now have we have alcohol in here which has not been made locally. That's a little bit of a problem. But we're not going to throw that away. No, we're not. We're just going to wait for the crops to get here, and when they do, they will start producing. But I think that we need to expand the town a bit. And we have the style set. It's really only one thing for it, and that would be one of these, of course. Yes, wouldn't that be lovely in here? Preferably right here, as central as possible. No, we're not doing those. We are keeping to the style. Twin villas, 40 workers, 55 workers, tall villa. Peach villa, 55. That sounds pretty good. There appears to be a little bit of a power line here in a way. I don't think I can be bothered to move it. Can be bothered. That sounds a bit harsh. It is important infrastructure. It is not easily moved. It's not something that you just do, especially not in winter time. We should have gotten many workers in, yes. And now we're also getting a whole lot of footpaths in here, because that's all the things that these buildings have. Yes, I continue to request or suggest that a good enhancement to the game would be paved and lit footpaths, which would have the same accelerating effect as the paved and lit roads with sidewalk have on the range of the workers' walking capability. Right? I think that was English, more or less. At least my attempt at it. And I don't think, if it didn't make any sense, I don't think it's actually my English skills that are lacking. It's simply my ability to express myself that is lacking. Oavsett vilket språk det är på. Regardless of language. Which language. Although, if I were to try and do it Auf Deutsch, ich hab das gefunden sehr schwer. That was nowhere. It was in the ballpark of the same thing, but not anywhere close to correct. Sehr schwer, ja. Tut mir leid. Nur ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen. Einen sehr kleinen bisschen. Dankeschön. Bitte sehr. Grüß Gott. Guten Morgen. Guten Abend. Sprechen Sie English? A little bit, they always say. That means if a German person responds like that, if you ask politely, sprechen Sie English? And they say a little bit, that means that they are completely fluent in English, just so you know. If you haven't experienced that, in my experience anyway, I think it's been pretty much exclusively that way. And if they look a bit uncomfortable and laugh a little bit, that means they don't speak a single word. And it's one of those things in my experience as well. Either perfect, fluent, perfect. Well, maybe some imperfections in grammar and so on may exist, but you know what I mean. Completely understandable and completely possible to communicate with. Yes. Or nothing at all. Absolutely nothing at all. Right. I haven't been to Germany for a few years, actually. That's not even driven through it, which is what you usually do. This had quite a significant impact on the people at the bus platform. It might even have had such an effect that it may be a bit dangerous. What this would allow us to do, actually, which is something that we should have done a long time ago, is to stop this silly business of commuting a whole lot of workers out here from very far away. Even though it is working so good, well, these people are supposed to drink and make beer. They're not supposed to be tending to the gravel and fire station. That said, though, do they have a proper fire station in here? It may not be prudent for them to have fire engines and such. They do, though, but they're not that drunk. They're actually... You are quite drunk. 75% drunk. 97% drunk, okay. Maybe Ticon should not be driving the fire engine today, in case a fire were to break out. We can... Katarina here can take care of that. Ticon, maybe he should rest, or could handle something other, such as standing out in the street here and making sure that people don't walk into the burning building should it catch fire. Okay. You're up here plowing, but the plowing in the center of town is somewhat lacking. I regrettably have to say. Well, you get there eventually, I suppose, but it's not great. Technical services maybe here somewhere. And hook it up to that crossing there. Can't build it. Sure you can. Told you. Yeah, but if you do it from this direction, then it's okay. That's a few more houses. More. Well, this looks rather empty. It does. More houses. Yes. And then we'll wrap this up about 1.5 hours. Yeah. We're getting down to reason. Well, there's still about an hour or so to shape off this until we get to the point of what I'm aiming for. But then that's Twin Villas version 3, Twin version 4. Okay, that's something new. This is an excellent mod. I highly recommend subscribing. The mod maker seems to be updating it frequently. There's always something new. Some new type or variation on this every time you launch the game, which in my case means that he updates these quite often. I assume it is a he. Because men and women are different and have different interests. There are probably certain... I guarantee that there are a few women that play this game. But I also guarantee that the majority of players are male. It's just the way it works. I mean, imagine what woman would be interested in this. My woman doesn't understand a single bit of this, you know. My woman. It's a good thing she doesn't watch this. Or understand English for that matter. That good. It wasn't meant to be demeaning. It was meant to be endearing. And she knows me pretty well, actually. So I think it's fine. Isn't it? Has the crops made it here yet? Yes. I have a little bit of smoke coming out of the chimney there, so 7 workers, not a whole lot. We would hope that you will get going a bit more on this eventually, but you will. Sollefteå here will be larger. That Sollefteå was really good, I have to say. It puts Småland to a shame. Småland beer, that is the beer named Småland. That is, to be clear on this, not Småland, the land, Småland. It's a bright Småländsk pilsner with fyllig, bodily, full-bodied taste and severe foam. Yes, kraftigt is possible to translate to other words than severe, but severe is depending on context a correct translation. Perhaps not in this context though, but it will do. Cheers. Well, aren't I the language professor? Isn't I? Am I not the language professor this evening? No, I'm not. I'm just talking rubbish. And unless I explicitly claim that I have some sort of expertise on the subject that I'm talking about, you should always assume that it is rubbish. If you haven't already made that judgment by yourself, you probably have. Right. And we should also get, technical services for the footpaths, because have you lived in a country or a place that actually has these types of winters? If you don't winter keep your footpaths, people will not be able to walk on them, at least not at regular speed. No, it will be like a tenth of regular speed, and people will fall and break their legs, and they will have to go to the hospital, or go to hospital, as you Brits would say. As an Anglicism, it doesn't sound quite right to me, actually. Go to hospital. Go to the hospital. Sounds more right. And that's an Americanism from another perspective. Or from your perspective, I suppose. From the UK's perspective, yes. And so we should have garages and not gas stations, and we should have lifts, not elevators. But I don't think that. Well, maybe these fancy buildings, such as these, such as these farm buildings. No, but such as these, I'm pretty sure they have lifts. Although I have to admit that elevators, to me, for some reason, sounds more right. Yes, and more natural to use. I suppose I'm, culturally influenced from both the Anglo world and the American culture. In different ways. Yes, but I don't think that I can't even think of, and what would you call it? Australianism or other thing. I don't know much about that. Well, they do have certain things, but I can't think of one now, which wouldn't be too obvious and boring. But I think they like to refer to, but at least they sometimes refer to their place of living as Shitsville. Australia, that is, but that might be something that I have gotten wrong, as many other things. Yes, this is a bit important. Yes, 230 tons of meat. That's a very nice amount of meat to be keeping in there. Definitely. Okay. Yes. Well. Okay. Well, you know what? I haven't followed up on how the second clothing factory went. You cannot store or export clothes. That sounds very good to me. That sounds very good to me. Should we get the longer clothing? Here comes the clothing train. It's empty. Should we get the longer one? Maybe. And you don't go down there at the moment. I mean, this is clothing is the probably the least important resource to get down here via the railroad. Because it is quite light. How much clothing do we have in here? 66 tons. 66 tons? Yeah, that's quite plenty. That's many shirts. As we bring bricks, we bring planks, we bring steel and crops at the moment. What else is really bulky and heavy? Fuel, which we already bring in here via the thing, which reminds me that we have the local distribution office, which may be you. Yes, it is. You should be getting your fuel from the loading thing instead. That I just assume is finished by now. Yes, of course it is. There you go. And don't get it from there. And if one wanted to be really particular about this, one should also hook up the bitumen tank here to this thing. Yes, one could do that. Yeah, it's just a bit of pipe. No, it's not just a bit of pipe, because you would need an adding pumping station in here too. So let's not. We don't use that much anyway. And the asphalt plant has a dedicated tank here. This is not even used for anything. This was perhaps intended to be used for heating, but then we found coal here and used that instead. Yes, how many workers here? 25. Yes, and how many workers are standing around here? 2. And here 5. Okay, good. Yes, fully staffed. Very much overkill for what we're doing. But we don't want people freezing to death. Speaking of which, population-wise, how have we been doing this year, you think? I don't know, but we could have a look. It is December after all, so it's maybe sort of time for a little bit of a... Okay, we've had some problems here in the last... okay, someone is escaping. Quite badly. I think that someone is severely in need of clothing. I would guess that's what it's about anyway. Would it be culture capital? No, but you are low on food for some reason. What's happened here? And it's happened again. It wasn't that long ago that we had a problem in culture capital with food. From having worked really well for a very long time, we suddenly have a lot of problems here. Our first locomotive. Where the hell are you? You're standing still. That's not a good thing. Something has broken on the railroad again, I would guess. What the hell are you doing down here? Oh, you're going to the chemist's, of course, but why aren't you able to go? I know why you're not able to go. It's because I started this, new rail construction thing, and I didn't put the signal in. And I think that we ought to have quite a few trains here piled up. Yes, indeed. But that's all it took. One signal is all it will take to unravel all of this. And how long does it actually stretch this? It stretches quite a way. This will significantly and severely impact the population. Since, the food train that is in here somewhere, there I would think it is, yeah. You know, what the hell are you? Where is the food train? No, the food train was first in queue at least. First in line, I think is how they put it. Yeah, it was. So there it is. It's on its way back. And then it will go to culture capital, but culture capital will lose a few more people before this ordeal is over. Yeah, this is not so great, Right, but there, what is this town? Messina. Is there another town losing people quickly, by the way? No, I don't think so. No, but I wanted Messina. Where the hell is that? This does not exist. This is part of Sollefteå, Screw you. There you go. Oh, and another house is completed. Very good. We could slow this back down again because you wanted to see the trains unravel and you went away from the area where the trains were, so it serves little purpose. Yes, here there are a few crazy things going on. Yeah, there's quite a bit of crazy things going on here actually, and we should probably do something to fence this off from the rest of the railroad until it is finished. There, yeah. And Old Wavkavisk here, I don't think that you're doing anything at the moment, are you? There. No, you got nothing to do. There's plenty of stuff for you to do. Yes, it's a very good thing that when the construction train set hits a new unconstructed piece of railroad, it picks it up and continues construction. That's good. What could be a little bit better if it would also, because if you have a junction, say, like such as this one. In fact, yeah. What have you built here? Have you built anything? Have I told you to build anything? Maybe not. Anyway, if you have a junction such as this one, and you have, say, 3 rails coming out of here, and the train comes here, it will only pick up one of these and continue on, and the other ones you'll have to manually assign. That would, I think, since it touches on this on the switch there, would be kind of nice if it could pick that up and build that as well. Or add it to its list of things to build, rather. Right. And this is the only way that, it doesn't go any further than that at the moment, right? That's a big project we have established. Have you finished the bridge here yet? There you have, and you're just about to start work on the railroad, which ends there. It's not great, or, well, it's looking fantastic. Of course it is, but I think that this is the time to be building railroad right now. Yes, we want to skirt the mountainside. That's a nice thing, a nice way of doing it, and it's also something that frequently happens in reality, as we put it. Hold right mouse button. No, it doesn't work because there is solid bedrock there, and let's maybe just go about as far as there for now. We'd want this double tracked as soon as possible after the bridge. That was enough to screw with the work flow of the construction office to get it to stop what it was doing. Is this still on your list? No, it's not. This is a bit annoying. We have to go over to where the hell it is, this thing. To well, it shouldn't really be that. No, it's right over here. There is where it is. And we'll add there, you see, when I clicked right on the junction, it added both at the same time. Nice. Anyway, eventually this will make it out here, maybe down here, and then we have to go over everything of this. Since the road already exists and I'm not about to tear it up, tear it down, tear it to anything, really. We seem to have at least one digger in range. Really, one. Is that all you got for me? This is going to take forever. Is this... that's more like it. A nice little approach. And that's about all my rubles gone. Pretty soon, I think. We'll do a little bit of thing landing in the middle here. That's all the rubles gone. Are we closer to anything that... yes, here we have more diggers for some reason. And if you turn this on, it gives some sort of reference to what you're trying to do. And I would like this to extend for a little bit. So it's not just, you know, a bridge landing and another bridge landing. But there is actually a little bit of railroad between there, yeah. And then hopefully we can get over both the road and the power line. Right. This again was maybe also beyond the intended and initial scope for this here. Little installment of the totally bonkers distribution. But well, if anything, this is totally bonkers distribution. What we're doing right now. I don't think this is tall enough. Hill causing obstruction. Some other... okay. This is a road. You want to do a railroad. So we should... here we should have a little bit of more. A little bit of more. Yeah, a little bit of more here. Come on. And I also think that we should make it a little bit taller. Because it was maybe a little bit unsatisfyingly tall. Short. But yeah, okay, somewhere around. Somewhere. It's not ideal. Come on. Yes, bridge pillar thing in the way. I know, could you be a bit more flexible about where you place those pillars, maybe? No. We already know the answer to that question. That's another quirk of this game. It doesn't work like that. But it works like this. Well, that's not too bad. Yeah, we got it. More or less. As I'm going to hold the right mouse button to flatten terrain here. There. And it actually would make more sense to double track here once we're down on level ground, would it not? Because in reality, you know, yes, we want to focus on realism here in this game, since it does focus on realism. You don't want to stop a train here in such a severe incline. There's no way you'd be able to get that train moving. Well, maybe if you had a lot of sand in your sandboxes, or what they're called. But it would require quite a bit. Then again, I'm not a train engineer. I don't know. But it looks like about a 7-8% gradient. And I think that is way beyond the reach of yeah, you need narrow gauge to do that. yeah, would you... I think that's it. Then, of course, we'll double-track this all of the way here. Yes, and in actuality, you'd even want to switch a bit out here so you could gain a bit of momentum before going up the thing. But then again, okay, yes, we're focusing on realism. Aren't we just? Yeah, we are actually. Something like that, yeah. Is that all? No, it's not all. It's only this bit. There's still quite a bit missing to this puzzle. But we'll make it down here. And then we'll do a turn. Eventually this mountain is quite steep here that we want to go alongside here, and it may not be very amenable to terrain modification. But I like this curve effect thing, so I want to have it. Where did we leave it? Okay, up there. That might be... yes, it might be a little bit problematic. We shall see here. It's a bit difficult to make out from this perspective what the height difference actually is. But this is not a good sign. There we go. How are we doing height-wise? Actually, not that bad. Just need to take you back a bit. And hook it up onto there, and I hope that we'll be able to manipulate the terrain here, but nothing seems to be really happening. You need a free excavator, is it? Is that so? Well, then what we'll do is we'll plan that in, and we'll hit this thing, and we'll hit the pause. And that's more like it. Well, it is still quite difficult, apparently. But there it is. There's 380 something thousand. Expensive. Actually, no. Well, okay. That already went in. Cancel and continue. Cancel, continue. You said something about ending this about half an hour ago. Yeah, now it's 2.5 hours that we need to shave off this to get to the target of about half an hour. So, yeah, but you know, things take time in this game. What can you do in half an hour? Rant about high-speed rail, for example. Yep, you can. Okay, this should not be too difficult. Well, I say it shouldn't be too difficult, but really, who am I to say this about that? No. Right, we have started going uphill here. We shall go back a little bit. And join up to there. Yep, that's about it. And I think that we should also do something here to the signaling bits of things. Large rail construction office, indeed. We want to keep you around because what I'm about to do here might interfere slightly in your operations and your thoughts about what you're supposed to be doing. Yes. You lost track of this bit. And then if we also put a bit of semaphores in here. There we go. That should allow them to do quite a lot here. We can do here too. This might well make them end up in some sort of lockup or something, but yeah, that will be many years from now. Then that's a problem. Or at least a few months. You know they are here. Yes, but there's quite a lot of bridging here, which is not quick business, you know. Is that an acceptable height? Yes, it is an acceptable height. Although this power line going straight through the railroad is a safety hazard, if nothing else. Is this an acceptable height? Just about. Just about. Okay. How's the Småland doing? There's actually still a little bit left in the Småland here. So, what we're going to do is have a look. The technical services thing, is that done? Where did you put it? Did I build a technical services new stock one here around somewhere? I like to think I did. There it is. No, that's not. Yeah, it is. But no, we're not dealing with that right now. This is good enough as is. And it's out here that you put a new one. And you have one there that doesn't have any vehicles. So you thought about this before it would appear. So it would appear. Everyone can walk to the brewery, which is excellent. Can everyone walk to the pub? Just about. Not quite everyone, but those who are not covered by the pub are covered by the little beer kiosk here. Yes. You cannot store or export alcohol. What's going on with the trucks? Is it already full here? Well, it looks grayed out, but okay. No. We have to go to one of the road cargo stations, and it's not that one. What do? You don't do anything. Swedish Distillery, you brought one load of alcohol down here. Okay. Is this the one? No. Beer crops. Where is the thing that takes the beer from in the other direction? Covered hull. Last page or next last page. There should be one more here. Yes. Okay. I have apparently not assigned vehicles to this. That will severely limit the efficiency of this here brewery. Now, why I didn't, probably got distracted by something. Yes, does that sound like something that I would be prone to doing? Kinda, yeah. A little bit. Okay, it's also a New Year's, a new year here. Is there any interest in doing a summary? I think that we're still doing rather terribly here with, yes, we're down to 57,500 people. Escapes this year is not, no, it's okay. Maybe the clothing train has actually made it now. No, they're still running. Well, I'm not quite sure what they're thinking about here, because they are escaping due to low clothing quality. It is minus 16 degrees outside. And I would assume, since you're escaping, since the clothing situation is so bad, that you don't have that much clothing to put on. And I suppose that you would freeze to death rather instantly here. And that serves you goddamn right. Because your neighbors and comrades here who stay, not here, but up in culture capital, they know that the train with the clothing will come. They have faith in the administration and the leadership, and they will be rewarded. You who escape, you will freeze to death out here. And now you get snow on you as well. Well, it just serves you even righter. Yes, I know, it serves you even more right. But we do have 70 workers in there now. That's pretty decent. But we should wait for a while for the stock of alcohol here to go up a bit. Right? No. Yes, but don't bring in any alcohol here. But in order to prevent you from doing this, since you're currently doing everything, what we do is a distillery. Don't go there. You don't have access to alcohol. Right? Sollefteå warehouse 2, you unload food. No, you don't have access to alcohol, so you can't do anything about trying to keep this place full of alcohol. And there's 1,000 tons. That sounds like a pretty good amount of storage for this place to have available to them. Yes. Friends, thank you so very much for watching. The future plans, well, the brewery has been talked about now for about 10 years, I think, maybe even more. And there it is. Long-term, you know what I was supposed to do here about 2 hours ago? I was supposed to check the radiation levels out here before building the brewery, but I think it's completely safe. Yeah, here it is completely deadly, and there not so much. No. Right. I don't know, it would be interesting to see what would happen if people were to live in an area like this. But yeah, we could have a random lottery between these 2,000 adult children, or we could invite some immigrants and see what happens. But it sounds both of those options are quite cruel, and they are about equally as cruel. Yeah. On the lottery, it has some randomness to it, but then again, you know, I suppose if we invite immigrants, it's sort of a lottery locally from where they are invited to. Who gets to come and not... Or maybe they get a proposal. Come live in TBD. You get whatever it is you get. We need to find a building that has... As for example, you get apparently $4,500 here in the year 21-23. I don't think that's a lot. Well, adjusted for this is actually already adjusted for inflation, so with $4,500, that's a decent start, isn't it? And then, well, especially considering that money, currency as such, doesn't really exist here. No, we live by the word of Marx. No, from each according to his ability, and to each according to their needs, or something along those lines. I don't know how it's officially translated into English. Officially, maybe there is official. Yeah, there might well be. There probably is an official translation, but that is translated from German to my native language, and then I made an attempt at doing an interpretation back into English. You know what either you know what I mean, and you've heard about Karl Marx and his ideas about things, or you've not, and it then doesn't really matter. What we can see here is that the technical services are a bit behind. That's how it will be. I already thanked you for watching. So, thank you for watching again. Good night.